about to go live on YouTube. Should be on Facebook. You go find us there, but you're going to hear me talk. You can ask questions. I'll answer them. We've done this podcast months ago, and schedules got us crazy, but we're going to get back on it. We talk baseball, but we talk life, talk everything. So feel free to.
There we are.
Hey,
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Small Ball Podcast. We took a little break there, but we're back. I'm Charlie Rogers here with Chancy Rogers. Man, what's going on?
Surprise, everybody. We're back. What? So I didn't even announce it. Used to, when we was doing it pretty regular, I'd come up with a title and all that. And this has been a challenge. And I've been, I was telling Charlie off air, I've been like fiending to do a podcast again. Like I miss it. Like this is almost a gossip hour, and everybody knows I love to talk. And man, I need that outlet. I loved it. We like created a little baby, and now I'm excited. I want to make this thing grow, and I think we can with all the social media going on these days, and the push that we had when we started. What you think, Charlie?
Yeah, I think so. And we're going to talk a little bit here coming up about how we're going to do that, how we're going to make it bigger and different and, a little more accessible and that kind of thing. But we were at, so football practice got rained out tonight. So we went to baseball practice and back 42, and we went in and did some workouts. And I was telling Tommy and them that we were doing a podcast tonight, and they were like, oh, we are coming back, huh? So everybody... I think some of those folks were kind of excited. Jackson was excited about it. So I'm happy to be doing it again, excited. And, it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. Just get on here and talk, and, people like it, don't like it, whatever. I don't care, but it's fun to just get it out there, man.
Hey, Charlie, I'm going to take these headphones off. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. That way my TikTok folks, because I'm getting some folks in here, that way they can kind of hear our conversations. They see me. So TikTok, can y'all?
Yeah, and so
y'all hear?
So going forward too, I was talking to Chancey about this. Going forward too, I wasn't aware that Chancey was a big TikToker. So
we've been working on it. We've been working on it a little bit. Yeah.
We can tie this thing into TikTok Live as well and go live on there. But before we go any further, Chancey, one of the changes that we talked about making, and one of the things that we're going to do different is we're going to add a third person, kind of a different perspective. That's what we're talking about when we came on, and you guys will recognize him, folks that are from around the Hattiesburg area, folks that have watched this podcast before will recognize it. But he's going to be a part of our team too, and I think he'll add just a different perspective and some different ideas and that kind of thing. So we'll bring him in now. It's Joe Gray, Cowboy Joe, if you will.
Cowboy Joe in the house. So one reason
Joe, what's up, man?
Was good.
Joe,
I don't
is
know it.
driving
You know what I'm saying?
now.
Just on the road right now.
Yeah, we might lose him running through some bad service, but it'll be all right. We'll roll right on through.
Well, hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you're good.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
Joe,
I'm in the
Go ahead.
West Texas. So
West Texas.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So tell us
West
kind
Texas,
of what
man,
you're doing right
coming
now,
from
man.
New Mexico.
You got baseball. You're taking a little break from baseball, and you're doing some work. And we were talking about it off air about kind of what you're doing and why you're doing it. And go into that a little bit, man. Let's jump right on into what's going on with Cowboy Joe right now.
Well, man, the biggest thing is I am sacrificing. I'm kind of towards the end of it. But at the beginning of the off season, I chose to go ahead and just tell myself that I was going to sacrifice, a month or two to kind of like get everything I wanted, for myself and for my future and for my family, to get everything situated and up and going. So therefore, moving forward at the age of 24, I can just play baseball as free as I want. I'm not playing baseball, which sometimes we do. At the end of the day, when baseball turns into your job, one of the biggest reasons why you choose the job that you pick is because of what? The money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm guilty at some point I did kind of go away from, what I was really, really doing baseball for, and that's fine. Everyone, we learn, we young and stuff like that. But that was the biggest thing. When I came home this offseason, I said, you know what, I'm going to make sure that the construction company with my dad, real estate, and then now I got my own trucking logistics company. If anyone's like knowledgeable of that, but basically we've been making like really, really good money, and hopefully by the start of the January of 2025, I'm not touching this truck no more. You know what I mean? Like we got everything self-sufficient. The money keep going, and now there we go. I'm 24 years old, and now I get to get back to what I was doing when I was a kid, just playing baseball because I love it. So
So I do want to hit on the baseball aspect of that before we kind of move further with the other part. But drafted by the Brewers, ended up with Kansas City. Where are you as
mhm.
far as baseball goes? I know with Kansas City you're kind of working there, and where are we now?
Well, just being completely honest, I don't want to say anything negative. I know me and Chauncey, we talked about it, about what really happened and stuff like that. But I will say this,
Yeah, you
that
just say what
yeah,
you're comfortable with. Yeah.
I was with Milwaukee for the 6 years, and then Kansas City, they got me in the Rule 5 draft this past year. And the best way I could put it is that I feel like it was too many people at the time trying to play manager, and it happens. You know what I mean? And at the time last year, Kansas City, they weren't too well. So the most obvious thing or most logical thing was that they felt like they needed to go get guys that had potential. But as the season went on, it's just like they end up becoming one of the better teams in the MLB, and they weren't moving anybody. So it was like the whole focus to go get guys was null. It was avoided, by the time we got, halfway through the season. So it's understandable. It's a business and things of that matter. But now, like, I'm a free agent, not with anybody. And basically, it's just making sure I stay in shape, making sure I get in shape. Uh, and basically it's just going to be a situation where hopefully by the end of December and January, get in some really, really deep conversations on whether or not we can get a big league spring training invite, or even something moving forward, or even spring training invite. In any case, all we need is an opportunity, and it doesn't matter if we start in a double A or triple A. The thing is once you get the foot in the door, it's in the door. So
Absolutely, and you're familiar with the system. You're familiar with how that works, and and the level of effort that you have to put in, and that kind of thing. And so, I have no doubt that you'll do well. And I think the last time we talked, you said there were some teams that were interested. So, that's looking forward. That's great. But I love what you said about not about wanting to put yourself in a situation where you don't have to count on that paycheck, right? That
right,
paycheck would be nice, and baseball is supposed to be fun. It's a
right,
kid's game, right? It's supposed to be fun. You just shouldn't play it to try to make that paycheck,
right,
but you're trying to put yourself in a position financially where you can go and play. And so,
right.
Chancey, your thoughts?
Yeah, love it. I was going to make sure everybody knew who Joe was, and now that the Hattiesburg High, kind of his whole story. I've known Joe for a long time. I got to see him play when he was 7, 8 years old. My brother played in the Dixie Youth there at Doliac in Hattiesburg, and there was a whole group of boys, and Joe was always different, man. And we've kept up with each other along the years, and it's helped us out and helped me out. Growing what we do in the community down there in South Mississippi, and I've always been a fan because Joe and his dad just has a different type of drive. And the beautiful thing that I see from all this is, I had two brothers play pro ball. One of them got a little money, the other one didn't. I've been around guys that's made money from a draft, and baseball definitely isn't forever. And most of the time, when baseball's done, they're having to go figure something out. And I love the fact that Joe is like, I'm going to take advantage of having a little money to be able to create something for the future, regardless of what baseball does.
Right.
And to me, when I train kids and we talk about that, we talk about, it's not just about baseball. Baseball creates something else. It creates the person, the character in you, and a drive. And it's kind of like that working drive. I mean, literally, Joe's right now, like he's talking about he's creating something for the future, for himself, for his future family, everything. And I love it. I'm inspired by it. You like I said, I coach it, and you don't always see it, but seeing it with Joe, it's a great way to, hey kids, here's an example of it. You don't always have that example. So hats off to you, Cowboy Joe.
Hey man, I'll just say, bro, and I don't say this in like a sob story or anything like that, but like I told y'all, man, the biggest thing about all of this, and even on a deeper level, it was the fact that when I got into pro ball when I was 18, I completely like gravitated towards, I got two guys that through my baseball career, man, when I got into pro ball, those were my guys. So, like one of the guys was the only other outfielder drafted the first day with the Brewers that year, and the other one, he was from the Bahamas. I loved him, but over the years, man, it was like it's like this. Like, and you can ask anyone, and you probably know this, Chauncey, like with your brothers and stuff. But like, bro, it's hard when you get up and you start moving, where you start to see your best friends or your guys get released, bro. That's one of the hardest things you could possibly, because you don't even know what to say. You don't know what to say. You don't know how to approach it. You don't know how to go about it. And then you look at it and you look at the situations. It's like, well, yo, what are we going to do next? Like I got a boy, I'm not going to say his name or anything like that. But like, man, like when we get dropped out of high school, bro, unless we're going to college the first few years, and if something were to happen, like he had to go try to find like a job with the fire department. Like that's not who we are. That's not like what we want to be. You know what I'm saying? Something happens to us, we don't want to go find a job. No offense to firefighters, but it's just like we just came off the field signing kids autographs, man, feeling like the dudes of the world, and then the next day we're training to be, going to a house fighting fires. Like that, bro. It's a very sad thing sometimes, man. It's a very sad thing.
And no doubt, and some have a really hard time with it. I mean, I've seen it. I've got two, and they'll probably text me, tell me not to tell their story, but but both of them are extremely hard workers, and baseball created that. Their dad was my high school coach, so they grew up in a coach's home, and just that hey, you got to work hard for what you do, and I know they dealt with it. I mean, Colin Bray, but he played with the Diamondbacks for 6 years. Look, that kid, I promise you, he'll laugh at me now because of what he's doing, but he didn't know how to do anything else. I promise you. I mean, he wasn't really like a country boy. He was a baseball player, bro. Like that's what he did, and he gave it everything he's got. He's got a beautiful family now, and he came back and he tried several different things, but he got in with Chevron down there and had to go through school, and he was like he was a JUCO draft, so he didn't finish college, and didn't have an education to say, hey, I'll just go in that field. He didn't have a field to go into, so he's in the oil field. He's pretty much an operator, makes great money. They just built a house down in Ocean Springs. But then Tyler, he was a late draft pick. He had to grind through his pro career. But as soon as he was done, that sucker didn't stop grinding. He was like you. He's into everything right now. He's into real estate.
Yeah.
He does insurance. And he's done really well for himself. But some don't have that. They want to do something, but they don't know what, because all they knew was baseball, and it's hard.
Yeah.
And we've talked about before. And I think we've talked about it with Joe before, but that's kind of the beauty of baseball or sports in general, is that a lot of times it gives you that work ethic, right? It teaches you that work ethic, but whenever it's taken away, you have to figure out how to utilize that strong work ethic. It's hard to say a bunch of
Right.
times. That strong work ethic in other ways. It's there. You just have to figure out how to utilize it in other ways. And I think that's what Joe's doing right now. And driving a truck and working in construction and doing all these things. Joe's trying to figure out how to channel that work ethic until he can get back on a baseball field.
Yeah, and I mean the biggest thing, man, is like the biggest question, and it seems simple. Well, if it all depends on the perspective. If you simply ask yourself, what am I playing baseball for? Right? Like every single day, there has to be something that wakes you up every day to why you're moving. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, like with baseball guys or athletes in general, when they get off the field, they don't know what is it they're working for anymore. So it's like if something happens and you're not on the field anymore, you got to ask yourself, what is it that I'm working for? And for me, no matter what the case is, my end goal is to still be able to be put in a position to where I can give back to my community, give back to Hattiesburg, be able to do the stuff I want to do, but also live a free life. Like you know what I'm saying? That is what I want. I want everyone around me to succeed. So that never changed, no matter if it's with baseball or if it was something else. So that's why it's like, okay, for right now at 24, I'm gonna go do this, and so I can still go live and be what I want to be with baseball, but I'm gonna still be good at the end of the day.
No
And
doubt,
that's the
no
biggest
doubt.
thing. So
Joe,
it's just like making sure you know what you want to you're chasing.
no doubt. So Joe, I know before we got on here and we was talking. Well, even Charlie said on here, I didn't know Chance was a big TikTok guy, but of course, I've kind of changed my direction on since I moved to Starkville, and kind of my marketing of I do lessons, I do training. Been doing it a long time, and
Yeah.
I've been always under the label of Bull Baseball, and then when I created Bull Baseball, I done Defenders Academy, and we're kind of rolling. I'm trying to with the podcast too. Just I'm me. Everybody in Starkville is knowing me, and then of course South Mississippi, everybody's knowing me, and so I'm pushing the social media, which is TikTok and the Instagram lives, and I know you have too, kind of
Yeah.
as a Cowboy Joe deal, and just a lifestyle type, I guess blog, right? And so you're still doing that. Where can they find you?
So anything social media wise, you can find it on Joe Gray _ Junior, or just simply look up Cowboy Joe on Instagram, and then on YouTube it will be G Ranch Productions. So with this podcast, and with us all doing, like you said, like you be able to, do your individual stuff, or have an individual feed from you with your TikTok and things like that. I'm going to do the same thing, and then at the same time, obviously put the podcast out there, because I know with a lot of the people that follow us, man, like I said, we reach out to a lot of different cultures. We reach out to a lot of different people, and at the end of the day, man, I hate to say it, but like for my case, man, country is a trend now. That is a trend. I don't know why is it like that, but like we really are like that. Chancy, at least we really are like that. It ain't no trend with us. We really from the South. So with
There was a
baseball and all.
song. Chancey will know the song. I was country when country wasn't cool.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Country's really cool now. You're right. It is. It's a trend, and it's very
Exactly.
cool
It's
now.
cool.
But there's a song. It's an old song. It's I was country when country wasn't cool.
Oh yeah, I know it. I
Yeah,
know it.
go check that one out.
You forget I lived in Nashville, and look, when I moved to
Right.
Nashville, even there, it's home of country music. No,
Mhm.
it was. They thought I was something different. I promise you. And but they still love me. They were like, oh, you're what we write these songs about. A lot of the songwriters up there don't live the lifestyle. My mom was always raised mama cow, so she should have anywhere from 70 to 100 head. And I grew up, and that's one reason why I was in Summerall. I'd keep a couple cows, some sheep and stuff. It's mainly so my kids could see that, see how a calf was birthed, and that kind of, I want them to have that knowledge. I'm not going to run a ranch one day, even though I did at one time. I promise you I did. But no, I have a big variety of my background because of the places I got to go live, but yeah,
you lived a lot of different lives.
I have, but I like a lot of different things though.
Yeah. But there is a ranch that you go to, right? Like, don't you go hang out on a ranch somewhere?
Yeah, it's Rogers Perry Lake Ranch. It's my dad's ranch. It's in Perry County, Beaumont. If I took you to it, when we pulled up to those gates, it would surprise you so much. If you know anything about Perry County, a place like this doesn't look like it exists, but it's down a dirt road that's a mile long, and then all of a sudden you see a big, huge rock entryway, like not brick, it's rock. It says Rogers Perry Lake Ranch, and he has longhorns, and I post on that, and one of my platforms is Miss Tex Outdoors. I post a lot of that stuff there. My dad is from Seguin, Texas, graduated from Seguin, and so he's a Texas boy. It's one reason, if you see my necklace, it's Texas Rangers. We love the Rangers. We love the Cowboys. It's hard to talk about right now, but
it is hard.
Yeah, you know what? Because I'm a big Saints fan, man, and the Saints are maybe the worst team in the league, but they sure beat the crap out of them.
The first week I thought they were the best team in the league, but anyway,
it looked like it. It looked like it.
So when my dad got a boat probably 20 years ago, and we wanted to name it, and we come up with Miss Tex, with Mississippi and Texas. So that's kind of been, he always messes with me that I stole it from him. Like, no, I'll let you created it. You are the true Miss Tex. I just, me and, I've taken my kids to Texas, and it's kind of funny that Joe's in Texas right now, but yeah, I have a love relationship for the state of Texas, and so does he, and so he raises Texas Longhorns, and so they're in Beaumont, and so yeah, I post a lot of that stuff on Miss Tex, and we hunt, we fish there, and we do some offshore fishing, and my brother Weston, he was a big part of it. He's got his own boat, and he offshore fishes a lot, and so. Joe knows Weston because that's my little brother that same age. So, but yeah, that's definitely what Joe was talking about, the country life. I don't get to do it as much as I used to, but it is a freedom when I do go down there. I stay down there a lot when I come to Summerall, Charlie. Like when I'm doing club reviews and stuff, I'll stay at my dad's place, and I'll get that relief and that. I'll get that fix of that, but
that's how I knew. Yeah, that's how I knew about it. I mean, that's how I knew that was a thing, because I see pictures and videos and stuff of you guys out there.
But yeah, man, that's good.
I've got a TikTok on that too.
But no, that's just who we are. You know what I'm saying? And people want stuff that's different. And we live in a world now where things get really, really, the same really quick in a lot of different avenues. And one thing for sure is that with just all three of us, you're going to have different personalities and you're going to have different things. But one thing is for sure is that no matter what the case is, we're from the South, and people love Southern hospitality, and they love the way we live. No matter how much they try to hate on it, they love the way we live.
And they like the way we talk, Joe.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know if they like to make fun of it or if they really like to hear it. But
shoot, every time, no offense, no offense to anyone that. But I'm single, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, look, anytime I go anywhere and they hear my voice, they're like, oh yeah, you ain't from here, but I'm interested. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you're right. They love the way they talk. They may make fun of it, but at the end of the day, they're gonna talk to you afterwards.
Dr. Allison.
So she's on
the chat a while ago. She said she missed you, Joe.
I do miss you, Joe.
I miss you too.
Look at her. She's been
Hey,
on
I
the
know
court.
I've been gone. I have been gone. I have been
Yeah, he's
gone.
in
But
Texas
no
right now.
worries.
All this stuff. I hadn't even told her kind of the story, but she's been on the court. So for her birthday, I screened in this our little porch patio area,
Yeah,
and that's where she sits. And I got a TV out there, and she's working with Mississippi State
I'll be
Athletic,
I'll be
and
doing the same thing.
oh yeah,
No
we
worries.
That's
love
right.
it. We
My
love it.
guys just got a dub, so that
Yeah.
was all I was going to
Yeah,
tell you.
Mississippi State.
Oh,
so
did
she,
they?
Yeah, she was watching the boys basketball play Southeast Louisiana, and so they got another dub. They're going to be really good this year. They've got
The SEC is going to to be brutal in basketball. I mean, it's
nasty,
brutal
man.
in football, obviously, but
It
I mean,
is
they
nasty.
may get 10 teams in the tournament. I mean, the SEC is
Look,
going to
all
be
these sports are about getting weird. I mean, Mississippi
Mhm.
State is the number one soccer team in the nation right now.
Mhm.
It's I mean, and South Carolina beat them in the SEC tournament, but they're number one seed going into the NCAA. So, man, all these sports with NIL and stuff, man,
It's wild.
it's going to get weird. I promise you.
Well, I will say it's definitely for the NCAA, man. It just seems like now we're starting the SEC. The SEC is starting to become, a powerhouse in almost all the sports. It used to be
Yeah.
you can't mess with us in the SEC with football and baseball. Now you're gonna get tapped on in basketball, you're gonna tapped on in other stuff. Volleyball. You give me like
Volleyball.
that's
Well,
not what we
and even
were
this,
worried about.
yeah, even this, you just added the perennial number one softball team in the country for years in Oklahoma. You already had
Oh, man.
Alabama, who's
You know
good,
what?
but Oklahoma is the name in softball, and you just added them to the SEC. You've got golf, you've got swimming. I mean, it's
Gymnastics.
tennis,
Gymnastics.
it's gymnastics. It's
state of Ohio.
wild. It's wild. The
Yep.
SEC pretty much runs it, man. And the Big Ten hangs in there a little bit, in football, basketball. Big 12's pretty good in basketball, but man, it's getting wild, and with NIL and all that stuff. And I don't want to go too deep into that, but because it changes daily. But you're looking at too. There's the lawsuit now. You're looking at probably early next year. Colleges are going to have to do revenue sharing. They're going to have to share the money that they're making with college athletes, and so you're going to have to budget for that. And it's going to put a lot of mid-major schools in a bind, and it's going to really separate these high major schools, and you're going to see it more in all the sports versus just the big three.
No doubt. It's already started for us budgeting for that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I think the biggest thing is we're gonna mess around and see is the simple fact that I hate to say it, and it almost at first you say this probably a year ago when NIL first started. You're like, it just started. You're just talking out the side of your neck. But I'll be honest with you, man. Once like you just said about the revenue sharing, and once that separation between these big schools and the mid-major schools start to really show, man, the biggest thing in the next 10 years is going to be putting conferences like the ACC, like the Clemsons, Dukes, and them. They're just going to have to make a move on whether or not they want to go into a bigger conference or not. Because that's going to be it's going to make a move. It's going to be a one big conference or two big conferences, and we just going to have to play out of that.
There's going to be a separation. There's going to have to be a separation. You're going to have, you may go 25 teams, you may go 50 teams, whatever, but there's going to be a separation because they're not going to be able to compete on the same level. And, it's going to be Division I, Division II, or FCS, FBS, but there's going to be another level there that's going to have to happen to separate those high major schools, those top 30 or so.
100%. But what the
money, it's the resources.
Yeah. Money.
But like you talk about a school like give me let's say a big name school like Notre Dame, or even like let's say Michigan. Football, yes, they're going to always have that. But outside of that, what else do they have? They don't have, they're not known for baseball because it's too up there in Indiana. What are you going to do up there in Indiana? You know what I'm saying? It's just like Other than your main sport that drives the school, where else is the money going to really come from? That's revenue for the school.
Yeah, right. A good example of that. I mean, a good example that I think a team that's really gonna they're really in trouble is like Clemson, right? So Clemson's an
Yep.
ACC. The ACC is going to die, right?
Yep.
So Clemson's got football, and they're pretty well known in baseball. But
Yep.
how are they going to pay these guys if they can't get into a major conference? And Florida State too. Florida State's in the same boat.
Yep.
I don't know that these major conferences really want them, and if they can't get into the SEC or the Big Ten, what's going to happen to them? Because the ACC is
Right.
going to die.
UNC, the same too.
Mhm.
You know, UNC's in there too. They're in that conversation. NC State, they're usually like the one that's kind of like that floating in between. They may be good, really, really good one year in baseball, and then right now, like in football, they're not. They've never really been like a true powerhouse. So like those schools there, it's gonna be a sink or swim type situation on whether or not they want to go ahead and get into a bigger conference. And like you said earlier, it's gonna be the difference between whether or not you go ahead and move schools like those into the same with the FCS, Jackson State, and your SWAT schools. Now you're gonna start to have those schools like, I hate to say it, but USM might be in the same little like, you know what I'm saying,
They are.
championship series
Yeah.
There's no
There's no
doubt.
question.
with Jackson State.
No
You
question.
know, like
It's
it's just,
over.
I hate to say it, but like with all this
It's
cash,
over. Baseball's the only thing that's getting them hanging on by a thread for as
Yeah.
like, competitiveness. I mean, there's no way. It doesn't matter. Everybody's mad about Southern Miss, but it doesn't matter who they hire. It doesn't
Right.
matter. There's no way they're going to get them players. No way.
Right.
Impossible. There's no way they're ever going to get enough money. I mean, unless Favre decides to hand over his whole estate.
Ah,
And he ain't about to do that after all this
No.
stuff.
no
recently.
He just-
shot.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
No.
over, and I hate it because I've had a lot of players go to Southern Miss, and baseball's going to hurt. There's no way. It comes just like Walter when it happened with Walter. Everybody was mad and stuff.
Yep.
There's no way. He'd been an idiot for not taking it and going to Florida.
Yep.
He got paid twice, and now he's about
Yep.
to get paid again because he's in the big leagues. But
Yeah, and people say, he could have gotten seen at Southern Miss. Yes, he could have gotten seen at Southern Miss, and he could have probably been drafted in the same place and made the same money in the major leagues. But he made that money in college.
he lost
So
$2 million. He lost $2 million.
Yeah, right. He got paid twice. So you're right. I hated to see him go. I mean, I'm an Ole Miss fan. So but I hated to see him go from USM. I always want them to do well because they're the hometown team. I cheer for them. I love to go to the games. Shout out to Mike Caldwell. He takes me to games. But I hate to see him go. But yeah, you're right. He'd have been a moron not to.
Yeah.
And I think also in his case, man, I don't know. A lot of people and a lot of fans don't really necessarily like understand it. But I don't know what in his mind he was thinking. I don't know his situation or anything. But just speaking from another player's perspective, not saying anything from USM. USM has always been known to be that team that USM is USM no matter what conference they're in.
Right.
You come up sleeping. It doesn't matter if you're the biggest top 10 in the nation. You will get beat, and USM has always had that. They will always have that notion, But it's just like with his case, being a pitcher and being a guy coming out of the pen. Was he coming out of the pen at USM, or was he a starter? No, he was a starter. Yeah, he was a starter. Okay, so being a starter in this conference, I hate to say it. I'm not saying anything negative, but it's a difference than being a guy that's coming out there shutting down and shutting lights out in the SEC, because you're basically playing at the AA level now when you're playing in SEC baseball. So it's just like, look, you know what I mean? Like, hey, look, especially now with the first round, the first and second round in Major League Baseball now, since they shortened up the rounds, you're getting paid first round money in the third round. So if you're telling me I could get $8 million out of high school instead of it used to be $4 million capped, $3 million maybe, like my draft first round money was $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
That was first round money. Second round money was high eights and $1 million. That was second round. Now, second round money is $3 million. You know
Well,
what I
you
mean?
see,
So
you're seeing now, Joe and Chancey. I mean, I know you guys know this, but you're seeing now a lot more. It's two things. You see a lot more college players being taken in the first round of Major League Draft.
Yep.
Because they're ready to play. And you're seeing a lot more high school kids go to college. And I think you were seeing that. I think you can say it's money, and it is some money, but I think you were seeing that even before the NIL stuff because of the what you're saying, because you see that they're more prepared, the training, the coaching, the stuff that the resources that they're getting at those levels. They go there, and then, like you said, when they get drafted, instead of having to start in low A, then you throw them jokers in the double A ball.
you
And
go.
you look at Paul Skeens. I know he's an outlier, but there's several
Yeah.
people like that. You look at Paul Skeens, and he's playing in the majors in the same year he was drafted.
Look at the last 3 years with the Angels. Look at the last 3 years with the Angels. All three guys that they have drafted in the first and second rounds of the draft in the last 3 years have been guys that they started in high A. They did not even go to they went straight to high A, and they're already in triple A, the majors, or double A. You know what I'm saying? They're not wasting any time anymore. And that's becoming way more evident. But also, I am going to tell you this. I'm going to tell y'all this off air. One of the reasons why college baseball players are now getting like that. That's the focus, because this is. I just put it like this: our collective bargaining agreement is finna be up again, and owners don't want to be paying all this extra money, man. So it's going to be a situation. It's going to be a situation where I'm gonna just say this: independent baseball is not going to look like independent baseball anymore.
Well, we've seen
Independent baseball is going to look like another like established double A, triple A level, no matter what the case is. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm gonna tell y'all everything off air.
I agree. And in terms of the money, and and then you have the other side of it, of independent baseball that's taking the storm, is banana ball.
Right.
You got stuff where you're an entertainer, and I'm sure you got buddies that went and play there, or people you play with. I mean, it's growing. The Texas it's growing. It's about to take it on storm, where it is an entertainment. It's a circus. It's craziness, but they making money, bro. They getting paid.
They're making money, and Chancey, those dudes can play. Like, it's not all fun and games.
They're all pro guys and college guys. Yeah.
Those dudes can play. I mean, in some ways, they've got more skills because they can do all that trick stuff. And I mean, I bet there are guys. There are guys in the major leagues that are playing in the major leagues that can't do some of the stuff that those guys are doing on a baseball field.
Here's the deal, Joe. Going back to what you're talking about, playing baseball for the right reason. Look, as a baseball coach, I look back and I'm like I don't even want to go to one of them things. Like it would get on my nerves so bad.
Oh no, I look. Like I tell you, bro. Like, hey, bro. I remember when they first came out, when the Bananas first came out. My girl used to ask me, "Is this real baseball?" I said, "Bro, don't even show that to me." You know what I'm saying? Don't even show that to me. You know what I'm saying?
But kids love it.
Kids love it.
They love it, bro.
Them dudes are loving it. I mean,
they're having a blast.
So it's like, all right, well, what do we do? It's pretty much they get to go and just be idiots and play baseball at one time and get paid. So it's like, all right, well, this makes sense. Whatever, I'll do this is who I'm going to be. And they're okay.
Yeah, you talk about doing it for fun, like we were talking about a while ago. Those are the guys that are doing it for fun. I mean,
and you know what's crazy? You know what else is crazy? Like, take this into consideration. The only Major League Baseball fields I have ever been on, I can actually count on my hand. I've been on Tampa Bay's, I've been on the Red Sox, I've been on Chicago, and I've been on Los Angeles and San Diego, and Houston. These dudes are actually going around the nation and being able to play on a big league field, and that's things that almost 1%. That's the thing that 1% of us as baseball players dream to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
All the colleges are. I mean, and the colleges are benefiting too. I mean, they got a great creative marketing plan. I know that it's nuts. Right. But I think you're right. It's going to filter in. And I said this a few years ago. I saw when Colin was playing And then when COVID happened, and they cut off the draft, and then when they came back and they kept it a short draft, I said independent ball is going to like come back. It used to in the 70s and stuff, it was there a little bit. Like people enjoyed that. I don't know if y'all ever watched the what's it called? It was on Netflix. The Battered Bastards or something. I don't
Yes,
know.
yeah. The team from Washington or whatever. Yeah,
it's like a mockumentary, but there's like some truth about it and stuff. But those we didn't really see it. Though people didn't video it, but like people went out. That was entertainment because obviously we didn't have streaming and that was part of what people did. And I think it's going to come back, and I think it's going to be like very competitive, very entertaining because. Like in those small towns that they have those independent leagues, that's what they want to go do, and people are so competitive these days. That's another part for another.
So I'll tell you this. Tell you real short. So after I got my release from Kansas City, I told myself that you know what I need to still play. I need to still play just for the case that I go off and I go play winter ball. You know what I'm saying, this year. So I went and I got with the Long Island Ducks. When I walked with, and guess what? Long Island Ducks are the New York Yankees of independent baseball, of Atlantic League baseball. They are the New York Yankees, bro. When I say every night they have 8,000 people in their crowds, that was not something we were getting in regular minor league baseball. 8,000 people every night in Long Island. And these people are some of the most amazing people I have met out there in New York. You know what I mean? But guess who I come in the locker room? Guess who the guys I see? Jackie Bradley, Frank Schwindel. You talking about a Gold Glove, multiple time All-Star guy. Jackie Bradley Jr. is in his locker room. You know what I'm saying? And he was there, and he's going crazy. But I say all that to say that, put like this. This is as close to what I'm gonna tell y'all on air, whatever the case is. You know how the G League is and basketball is, right? Mm-hmm. Guess what? Just hypothetically think of baseball having one league under Major League Baseball. You won't have a need for high school guys no more, unless he is absolutely like Bryce Harper. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it's going to force kids to go get developed earlier, or take their development in college more serious, because you're going to get paid anyway.
It's going to look more like the NFL model, where they have to go to college, essentially, and then you got to do 3 years, and then you can go play.
Right. And the only thing in between is just having a team on an actual spring training complex, which we already have. So other than that, you're going to get your guys who's going to stay there at the spring training complex and play against basically like everything else, because 15 teams are in Florida, 15 teams are in Arizona. So it's like you're going to have the amount of the talent to go off every team and play here. That's not going to change, but now you're limiting roster spots. And tell me this, if that happens within the next 5 years, tell me what are you going to do with all the guys who are actually good enough to get to the big leagues, but they're on a high A, double A, or even triple A roster, but they just can't make the team because there's only one team under the big league team. Where are they going to go?
Independent ball. They got to go play
exactly. That's all I'm going to say.
I got one of my TikToks, so it's kind of been coming and going, but I've got 745 likes on this. So what I did, I took my headphones off so they could hear you guys. But one of the viewers, Joe, he's KOD on here, but he said he played till he was 42 and he has the all-time hits record in the Atlantic League. But I clicked on his page and it said, God chose baseball for me to spread the love and help people through the game. So he's involved.
Amen.
With baseball. So
amen.
Yeah, go follow me and I'll send you a message, KOD. I'll hook us up. But yeah, I think it's there. I mean, I heard Dion just talk about what Colorado's doing. Talk about freshmen coming in. It makes me think of the same thing. he said, we ain't getting a freshman unless I think he's going to play. There's no use. He'll play somewhere else, and then I'm going to get you when you get ready.
Yeah,
if you get ready, I don't want you to come redshirt. We ain't developing you. You better be ready to play because they're in a different situation than they were, 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Well, because what's going to happen is he's going to go get that high school kid. He's going to bring him in. He's going to develop him for a year, and then he's going to leave and go somewhere else.
Right. If he don't play,
he's never going to play for him.
Or whatever, a Travis Hunter type guy. So the same thing with baseball. Yeah. I mean, I'm dealing with, some high school guys that should be D1. They should be D1, but they're having these conversations like they're not going to sit over there. They're just going to ride the transfer portal every year until it sticks. But like this kid that I've been working with, his name is Dalton Reeves. He's been working with me. I'm not working with him. He's Joe's age, but he went JUCO. So he has a great story. Dalton Reeves. We're going to get him on here. He played in South Carolina last year, but and he's playing indie ball over there, Joe. Whatever that is, and I don't know. It's in South Carolina. It's not Frontier League.
South Carolina. It could be. No, I mean it could be the Frontier. But
I have to look at what his team was called, and I don't want to screw it up. But anyway, here's his story. So he's kind of like a COVID kid too. He's a 6'4", 225 catcher. Left-handed bat, big kid, could swing it. But when he was a junior in high school, he was like 6'1", 165 pounds. Just a regular, what you would call regular high school kid. Went to a JUCO showcase. That was the only offer. He took it. Played 2 years. By the time he got done, he was 6'3", bigger. He went and played for Presbyterian College for 2 years. Got a business degree. 6'5" now, big, strong, can hit it, led the team, whatever. Well, he's already graduated, but he's got an extra year because of COVID. Well, he goes to South Carolina to use that year, and he started. And, that's a beautiful thing. Like, now he's getting to play a little bit of pro ball with indie ball, and he was a kid, he wasn't Joe Gray in high school, but he grew into that. And there's no way if he goes to South Carolina, and he's from South Carolina, there's no way he probably even starts, even if he goes 5 years there. You know what I mean? But the fact that he got to play, he developed into a good baseball player. Of course, he grew. But it's neat to hear those stories, and you're going to hear more of that kind of stuff where these big schools are going to be all fifth-year guys. They redshirted somewhere, developed, played somewhere, and then it's like, all right, here I am. Who can we go to?
Do you guys think any of that trickles down to JUCOs too? I mean, you think?
100%. JUCO baseball is going to be
talent at JUCOs.
JUCO baseball is going to be an absolute we think now what PRCC does every year, year in and year out, they go every year, they end up being a top 10 team in the nation. Okay, how about this? How about you have a kid who, let's say for instance, like you take me. Now, I don't know, maybe I would have been that outlier where even out of high school, guess what? I'm on everybody's ass come first day of practice my freshman year. And it's just like, I don't care who I am, I'm coming for you. Maybe so. But let's say I'm not, right? I come in freshman year and I'm like, bruh, I know I'm better than these guys, but they're older. They're stronger, and the coach has more trust in them because of the experience. Well, I need to go to JUCO. So you're going to have the guys like me in JUCO at a higher rate, because at the end of the day, we're competitors, and we are not going to sit on a bench. You know what I mean? Like now, of course, there's a negative part to that. Like, you can't be a sore loser. You got to pay your dues. You got to do it. Whatever, bro. Whatever you want to say. However, whatever you want to say, whatever it means. But at the end of the day, we like to play. We don't like to sit around. We like to play. So you're gonna have.
There was a day that was true, but that's not the way it works now.
Right. That's not what the case is. Yeah, it used to be frowned upon for a kid that he don't want to see it through. Nah, man. Today's Baseball is not that. You tell me, Chauncey, and you know this. If you tell me I'm at a D1 school, and you say I gotta wait 3 years, and I gotta deal with 2 years of me sitting on a bench behind somebody that ain't better than me because of his age and because of the fact that when I could go to JUCO and put up video game numbers and they're gonna pay me just as much as long as I do my job for 1 year. If I go to a D1 school I gotta wait 3 years. If I go to a JUCO, I only have to wait 1 year. I'm going to take that 1 year every dang year.
Here's the only kicker, Joe. If
Talk to me.
SEC, just saying SEC, makes enough money where they pay you to sit there.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
I still think if you're talented enough, somebody's going to pay you more.
Yeah, here's the deal. I know what you're saying. As a player, it's easy to say, man, I want to go play. But here's the deal. I mean, you got no money. Your mama ain't got no money. I'm trying to buy my house like Deion. You ever see Deion's Hall of Fame speech?
Mm-hmm.
We need to pull. Look, Charlie. We got to get good like Theo and Joe Rogan and Shay.
Oh, we will.
Pull that up for me. But Deion, look, people's got different opinions about Deion. I grew up watching Dallas Cowboys, and look, I would do the primetime dance and stuff. Like I wanted to be a cornerback. I love Deion. Yeah, he's a little too much sometimes, but let me tell you what he does. That Hall of Fame speech when he goes, I was ashamed of my mama. She worked and she pushed a cart in the hospital, and them boys they was hating on me. They was ragging on me, and I was ashamed of my mama. He said, and I said, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I created something people might love and they might hate. And I named it Prime Time. And I was like, oh! I was like, it gave me chills, man. I was like, yeah. I mean, that was his motivation. But what I'm getting at, what if you got that kid in the SEC schools, like, I'll pay you $20,000 a month to sit here and lecture.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't seem like a lot. Like, all right, you got drafted, you got paid a little more money than that. But a kid that ain't got nothing, what's he gonna do?
Oh, dog. Now, listen. Look. I have to understand. That I'm still speaking out of the fact of how college was when I was gonna go to college. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to understand now. It's like, and being real, 18-year-old. I keep it honest at you. Keep it a buck. I don't know what JUCOs is doing. I don't know what the case is. I don't know the rules.
NIL like that.
Right. I know a JUCO knowing me, because if NIL was in school at Ole Miss, I'll be honest with you. I would have went to school because you know what I would have asked for, Chauncey? I would have said, look, give me a 2500 HD Denali, and I take all NIL with camouflage. You know what I'm saying? Sika. I take Sika.
Realtree, man. It's Realtree. It's Realtree at Ole Miss.
Hey, dog. Look, I'll take Realtree. 18-year-old, you give me a Denali on some 35s, 37s. Yeah, I'll sit there.
And you'd have got it. You would have got it.
I do wonder that. I do wonder if, because NCAA does own, the JUCOs, they're NCAA, JC, or whatever. I wonder if, just think about Pearl River. All right, what if Pearl River keeps doing what they're doing? And they become a national, like people are attracted to that. Like they want to see a small school and these studs that are getting drafted out of there in 2 years instead of whatever. And they start paying them. Wonder if that's a thing coming. I don't know. I'm not smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I love this conversation. And go ahead, Joe.
No, I'm just saying that's just one of those things that's a question mark, and it could.
It could happen.
That's just like Chipola, San Jack, those big Midwest teams in the Midwest that are known for baseball players. It's a question mark.
Yeah.
So wrap this thing up here pretty soon. But we will continue this. This has been great conversation. And
man.
Joe adds an element to this podcast that we didn't have before. Joe adds kind of the excitement element of it. So that's good. I like that. We keep it going. But I do want to give a shout out to Fernando Goldman. Fernando commented on Facebook a while ago. I guess you guys know Fernando. I guess Chancy, you know him.
I played with him at John.
Okay, so Fernando, I graduated with him high school.
Okay.
So we went to high school together. But he was on there. I see Mike Caldwell just joined on Instagram.
So was Fernando's comment positive?
Yeah.
Fernando's known for getting a little rowdy on Facebook.
Oh yes, no doubt. You know, Fernando is a Cowboys fan too, and he does like to talk trash. He's an LSU fan too, and
Yes.
this hasn't been the.
It's been a very good week.
I'm
with you, Fernando.
Hey, but hotty totty, right? We're going to the playoffs. We got to win 2 more.
We're watching. We're just we're over here in Starkville, just hoping Levy. Hope they're raising a lot of money, because
Levy's a good coach.
Yeah, he is. But here's the deal: Van Buren ain't staying. He's gotten exposed to much. Somebody's going to pay him. So it's just going to become like, all right. Instead of recruiting meetings, it's going to be just straight conference room. Show me the contract. Show me the money, Jerry Maguire style in these big schools. So,
well, the thing about Levy, and I've got some experience with Levy. He was at Ole Miss for a while, and then I kept up with him at Oklahoma too. But the thing about Levy is you're going to have good quarterback play with him, kind of no matter who it is. So you can always count on that. That's a positive. Now, if you go get a high priced guy, it's going to be even better, obviously. Yeah. But he's gonna get the most out of quarterbacks. But I do want to talk a little bit real quick about kind of what you're doing. We've got as far as baseball goes, we've got with Bull Baseball winter performance coming up here over the next few weeks. And then prospect camp that we'll talk about here in just a minute too. But talk about what we do for winter performance. That's something that's kind of unique in this area.
Yeah, in every area. In every area, probably in where we are. Even Starkville. We done it last night. I had Bo Holland come and do it. He's a former performance trainer at Iowa and Baylor and Mississippi State. He's a firefighter. He done awesome. Those kids, it was a bunch of 7-year-olds, but they've never been told really how to stretch and how to move their body. And we made them run a little bit. We had fun with them. But just getting them active and getting their minds and like, hey, this is the off season, but we need to stay in shape. And this is how we're going to do it. A lot of kids don't run anymore, I get on here and go on a rant all the time about like, wherever they are, if a kid's running somewhere, kids like to run, but we tell them, no running, be careful. And so, like, this is a way, like, all right, no, we're going to wear your little butts out. So he's done a great job of that. We kick off tomorrow. If Cowboy Joe can pull that haul and go over to Mississippi by tomorrow evening, Joe will be at our winter performance with our 13U. Tomorrow. I'll be there. I've got a signing with Cannon Turner, who was on the podcast. I'm going to go to his signing at Purvis. He's signing with Pearl River, who we talked about tonight. And then I'll be there. So I do have lessons too. So anybody that watches this by tomorrow, you can just text me because I didn't change my website to say that I'm available on Wednesday. But I will be doing lessons tomorrow at Back 42. But then we got Ty Little. Yep. I got Ty Little coming in Thursday and Friday for the other groups. Ty done it last year. Ty's one of those, like, he will try to hurt these kids. So he's one of them that he can't be hurt.
We're Friday, so I'm looking forward to. Of course, I'll be at a football game. I want to get Joe's thoughts on that here in a minute too with Hattiesburg High. But yeah, we're in that Friday group.
Awesome. So winter performance is 4 weeks. It's we'll do 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, take Thanksgiving off, come back another 2 weeks, and then everybody's out pretty much for the Christmas holidays, and we won't see them again until January when we start club training. But we So with the winter performance, what I like giving a variety. I want kids to learn what an off season is and what they should be doing more of. Usually after the first couple of weeks, they're like, man, I'm out of shape. I thought I was in shape, but you just gotta keep these kids active. So it's a way for us to do it. It's a way for them to learn. We'll close the one down south with Perry Turner like we did last year, and Perry's one of the more knowledgeable performance trainers in the South, in my opinion. He could have a job anywhere. He just had a second child, so congrats, Perry. I talked to him today, but he'll be there, and we'll make something.
We did yoga last year too.
Yoga. I'm gonna try to get Miss Kim to come back and do it. If not, I've got some other ones. But I love the yoga.
The kids like that.
Yeah, it's something different. It's something that no one else is going to make them do, and it's. Not every baseball player does yoga, but a lot of them do, and so I want to make it where it's not like a foreign or like something like weird and negative and like, oh, yoga. Like, no, it's stretching. Okay, it's stretching and being able to hold your core and being able.
They were all very sore last time. They figured out real quick that it wasn't weird or.
She wore them out, which we did it. Matt Miller. PBR, he had 59 baseball. We've done it every off season, every Wednesday, and Miss Kim done it then. So, it's a big thing. I believe in it. I like it. I wish I could do more of it, but I tend not to because I'm very sore too when I try to do it. But yeah, that's kind of our winter performance, and it's exciting. I love it. I love this time of the year just because. It to me is what separates kids. A lot of kids that not show up, but the ones that do and they get after it, really focus, and it's not just playtime. And you see them in the spring and they're ready to go. They're ready to rock and roll baseball. And they're not tired. Their bodies are in shape. They're fast. They're moving good. So, and Joe knows about that too. I mean, he's had 6 years of pro baseball. You have to have an off season.
Talk about Chancy real quick. Talk about this prospect camp coming up on Sunday. We'll be there.
Pull that up, Charlie. Pull that up, Charlie.
Yeah, I know Joe went to a bunch of these. I'm sure when he was coming through. We did this one last year with you guys, and it was a lot of fun. It's really cool to get the numbers. Just tell us about that. What goes on there, and then how they can get in it.
Man, so this is our kind of second annual one we're doing at Southern Miss, and I hope to continue that for sure. We love the guys over there. Danny Lynch is their assistant coach over there that kind of helps me put this on, and Danny's a fan favorite, and so
all the kids know him.
Oh yeah, had that famous stance, but Danny, we got a date lined out, and here we are. I allow the 12 and 13-year-olds to come, and I invite a few 11s even, and Jackson came as an 11-year-old last year. To me, it's good for them to be able to get on that field, see where they are. They're young. Some of them, haven't started growing a lot yet, but they get to see where their numbers are. They have something to chase, and I'm a big believer in chasing something, whether it's the guy next to you or yourself. And, this is a way for them to see numbers and set some goals and come back every year. We try to make it affordable. The Bulls get a discount, but it's open to the public, so anybody that's want to just come get numbers, and also I use it as a recruiting for our prospects. So our prospect teams, I'm going to be a lot more involved with this year since I'm not coaching a team, and I'll put a prospect team together for 12U, for 13U, 14U, 15U, 16U, and 17U, and I'm kind of changing what we do as an organization as far as like teams. Everybody just does teams and put teams together and you sit under these showcase tournaments. These showcase tournaments have changed a lot in the last 2 years. So no recruiter could come out and talk until your junior year pretty much. So I'm trying to change it financially. This stuff gets way expensive and almost ridiculous. You need to have competition. You need to showcase yourself, no doubt. But some of the stuff you don't have to go to, in my opinion. We can get on that. People come on here and comment all they want. But, there's certain kids that need to go and do some big ones, but 97.9% of them don't need to. And so we're trying to make it affordable and competitive as well. And there's a lot of tournaments around that we're going to go do. And then also, I like the experience aspect of it. The 12, 13-year-olds, major experience to go. Like we took the 12-year-olds last year, and we showed out on Saturday, and then got humbled on Sunday, which I loved. I love it. Some of the parents didn't. They were mad that we didn't win because we hit 18 home runs on Saturday. But we faced a kid that was 76 to 77 for 55 feet or 50 feet or whatever it is, and had a slider, and it was the real deal. I had a kid that was probably 74, 75 for the left side. Brandon Wilson, who was a stud, going to be a stud, but their leadoff guy, first pitch he threw, said he had some of the best hands I've seen from a 12-year-old. He said, "Yak 'em." First pitch of the game was ready to go, and I love that because I'm able to use it as an example. Like that youngin was ready to go. It didn't take him a second of that, so. That kid's probably going to play pro ball, in my opinion. I mean, those things you cannot teach. He had them naturally. And so I love that. I want them to experience that. And the more people get involved with that part of it, you'll hear me say, and I'm going to make a daggone T-shirt, they get to see what's good. And that's a problem with a lot of people. They don't know what good is. And Joe probably, he's probably sitting here listening like, I know what you're talking about. And because it helps, Joe was good in high school, you know what I mean? But he ain't seen good till he got to go to pro ball. Them dudes good, and look, you got to get better and better and better. So there's an opportunity for them kids to see that and want to work harder and all that.
Well, that's what I listen to this podcast all the time. One of the ones I listen to, and they always talk about the level that you have to be to play professional sports, right? And so they always say, they kind of compare it and say, if you look at every kid on, say, the Saints aren't very good, right? But every player on that roster, most likely the best player to ever come out of his high school. So you got to think, like, they're good. And so the level to be elite at that level is nuts. But yeah, if you think about it as every player on those major league teams, probably the best player to come out of their high school. You look at Joe. Joe's sitting here on this podcast, best player I've seen at Hattiesburg High. And so it's crazy. It's crazy the level. And we look and we say, man, that team sucks or that team sucks. They don't suck. They're just not as good as those other guys that are really, really good.
Right.
I do want to get Joe's thoughts before we shut this thing down. Joe, Hattiesburg High, man. 10-0, number 1 seed going in. I'll be there Friday night. But man, what are you looking for out of the Tigers?
Man, I'm looking for Tigers by 40. That's what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? I need Tigers by 40. I need Tigers by 40. I need Tigers by 40. Hey, before we get off of this, I kid you not, this is something I brought up to my dad. And this is something you can look into, Charlie.
Okay.
I would like, because think about this, right? After this, the changing of classification with Mississippi High School Athletic Association, now they got 7A, right?
Yep.
So take this in consideration. Imagine you got Hattiesburg High 10-0. They don't beat Oak Grove, Petal, and some powerhouse 6-8, 7-8 teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, truthfully, by numbers, Hattiesburg is still just, if we whip our old stuff, Hattiesburg is still just a big 5A. We not truly a 6A.
Right.
If you really go by number of people, number of kids at that school, Hattiesburg is still a big 5A. But that don't mean they playing like it. They playing like a 7A school in the state. But here's my thing. So this is what I brought up to my dad. If you look up I would like to potentially bring a proposal to Mississippi High School Athletic Association when it comes to the football playoffs. And here's my proposal. If you look at, and how I even came about this, because my mentor, Junior Spivey, his son plays for Kansas State. He's a wide receiver for Kansas State. he has a younger son that's being recruited as a cornerback. You know what I'm saying? And if you look up who Junior Spivey is, he's a big leaguer, won a World Series with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
That's my mentor. Yeah,
like when you said that, I was like, what? Like,
yeah, exactly.
not a lot of people know who
Hey, that's one person. That's one person I could guarantee you I could get on this. If we did a podcast tomorrow, I could have him on the podcast tomorrow. You get me? But like, but I said to say,
all right, finish your deal and I'll close it with
Yeah.
we'll talk about Junior real quick.
So if you look up Charlie, if you look up Arizona, the state of Arizona, their playoff like format, they do this thing called an open. It is like this. It would give an opportunity for teams like Hattiesburg, that is obviously number one in 6A, right? But for the longest in Mississippi, bro, we've always done the best team in 6A, best team in 5A, best team in 4A, whatever the case is. But imagine when if it was during the years where Bassfield was Bassfield and they were coming up here kicking 6A schools' ass at a 3A school, you know? So imagine you have a situation where, like Arizona, it's up to the school to do this. To the schools, it's their choices. But at the end of each team's district or whatever the case is, regular season, they choose to do one or two things. They can either go into what they call the open, and that is a collective tournament between the best 10 teams in the state, the best 8 teams in the state, no matter the classification. The best 8 teams, and then you really get to see who the bad boy is in the state. Now, you also got teams where, like, if you look at it, like, for instance, my mentor's son is at Hamilton High School. So they were the number 1 team in, I think, 6A or 5A in Arizona, or at least in their, you know what I'm saying, in their district, and they're ranked nationally. So instead of them going to go play for the 6A title, they went to go play for who's the baddest team, the Open, in Arizona. So whoever is second place in their position would take their place in that playoff spot. So it'd be like this year where Hattiesburg say, we already won a state championship last year. This year we want to win. We want to make sure it's known that we're better than Oak Grove, Louisville, Tupelo, whatever. Nah, West Jones can have it. We gonna go see this. We gonna go see who the really number 10. Now imagine that in baseball, bro. We already play that enough. We already play 30 games a year. You tell me that after the state championships, every team that wins their state championship title gets to play in a one more day or two more day tournament after the state championship title to see who really is the best team in the state. Yeah, that means all year we won the state championship, we would have to play against, who was that? DeSoto Central, or what was it? Blaze Jordan kid when he was, I think their team won it that same year. Yeah. So guess what? The next day or that following Monday, we would have played DeSoto Central to see who really the badass team in the state is.
Joe, was it yours? I obviously I called the baseball state championship that you guys played in on the radio, but was that the same year that we played for the football state championship too? Was that your senior year?
Yep, 2018. Okay. We call it the year of champions.
Because Dexter was on that team. Snoop Connor and Dexter and those guys were on that team. Yeah, I thought, because that was a fun year, because I got to call state championship in football. They lost it to West Point, but then I got to call the state championship baseball series also. So that was a lot of fun. But that was a good time for you seniors. Right. Hey, you coming to the game Friday?
I should be there. Yeah, I should be there.
All right, come 100%. Check me out. I'll talk to you at halftime or something if you want to come up to the booth. Chancy, tell us about Spivey, man.
Yeah, Junior Spivey. So real quick, so the connection there. So Tyler and Colin Bray, my stepbrothers, their dad, my stepdad, who was my high school coach, Scott Bray, played with Luis Gonzalez at South Alabama. Junior Spivey won a World Series with Luis Gonzalez.
I met Gonzo through Junior. That's crazy.
Gonzo had triplets. All right, Gonzo's wife, Christina. All right, here's a quick. Nothing's quick. Here's a story. Coach Bray used to take his seniors every year, wherever Gonzo was. He was in Houston for a while. I think we were in Houston. Yeah, so we went to Houston, and I went with him. So he's dating my mom at the time. But, here I am, a little 12-year-old boy, and I'm, loving baseball. I'm like, can I go, Mom? He takes me. and Gonzo takes all these seniors out to eat. Well, I don't fit in with these seniors. I'm 12, it's like Jackson or something, it's kind of weird. So I hang out with the wife. She's like awesome. They didn't have kids at the time. Me and Christine become buddies, and the Chicago Bulls was playing. That's how long ago it was, Joe. I'm old. I know it don't seem like it.
I'll stop it.
I'm old. The Chicago Bulls playing in Utah. Anyway, me and Christine, she was my buddy for many years, and
that was when Jordan was still there.
Oh yeah. Yes. So
yeah.
So
the actual Bulls.
Fast forward to 2013 or whatever, 14, whenever Colin got drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Louis, up in the office, he's like one of the main guys.
Yeah, front office guy.
And we go out. So I go their first year. So Colin got drafted, and then Tyler got drafted. That second year, it was both of them. It was Colin's second year, Tyler's first year. I go to both spring trainings. First time I went to Arizona, and I went to Florida with Scott. Well, when we go to Arizona, Colin gets to play in a big league game, and so we get up 7:30, and we go down. It's open cages in Arizona. You can see, you can just walk up to the cage.
And
Colin's in there early. And AJ Pollock was there at the time. I think Goldschmidt was still there. But anyway, Louis comes walking. His son, who was one of the triplets, signed with TCU, and he was in there hitting. Okay, and so I see Gonzo, and I was like, Scott, there's Louis. And Louis. He turns around and he sees Scott, and he calls and brings down. He's like, "We got your boy." Colin's sitting there right there hitting, and it's weird, because Colin got to hang out with him as a little boy. Now he is he's over him in a big league sense, and so it's crazy the way the world goes around. But during that time, when they won the World Series, it was 2002, 2001. 2001. It was my senior year. And I was a Diamondbacks fan like crazy because of him, because of Louis. I watched them. But, dude, I know that whole lineup. It was the first year that we bought the MLB package on DirecTV. And they would come on at 9 o'clock at night. So, after practice and stuff, Diamondbacks were on because they were late night. I knew Jay Bell, Matt Williams. Tony Womack, I loved him. And Junior Spivey was the young right fielder that just he was so strong and I loved him. He played hard, but yeah, when you said Junior,
we gotta get him on here.
Junior Spivey is. And when I heard you say Junior Spivey, I was like, hold up, what? How that come about?
Oh no, we gonna get it. Oh, we gonna get him on here. Oh, and the reason how I even met Junior. First of all, how I met Junior. I met Matt Kemp through Junior, also. Okay. Because here's the deal. And keep it real quick for Charlie. Keep it real quick for Charlie.
He got to work on his boy.
Trying to keep this thing on the rails here.
Yeah. Basically, so Junior lives in Arizona, right? Junior lives in Arizona, where the case is. And at first he was working out with the RBI and it's RBI in it's another initiative for the MLB, wherever the case is. It's gonna come to mind. But basically, he ended up getting a job with the Brewers for our minority and initiatives program. And now because him and Craig Counsell played together. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So basically,
Craig Counsell.
Yeah,
that makes
sense. He comes in as a guy that helps with the infielders because he really originally was a second baseman. He ended up moving out to the outfield. Yeah. But long story short, me and him hit it off. And one of the things he told me, he said, "Hey man, you really want to take it to the next level? I got somebody you need to meet. You want to take it to the next level? I got somebody to meet." So when it came to the off season, that what made me move to Dallas for those 2 years. Okay. So I go. Now this is funny. This is crazy. We fly from Phoenix because I chose to stay in Phoenix originally right after the season. Come back, training. Chose to stay in Phoenix. I'm over at Junior's house. He said, "Hey man, you know what? I told my boy, because this is somebody that I took under my wing. So when Junior was in the playoff, was in the big leagues, Matt was his protege. And so Matt, you know what I'm saying, Junior was Matt Kemp's mentor. So because they're both from Oklahoma. Junior's originally from Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? So basically, he said, "Hey man, don't even worry about it. Just pack your bags. We going to Dallas." I said, "Bro, I ain't gotta buy a flight." He said, "Nah, just pack your bags. You're going to Dallas." We get to Dallas. We show up to our hotel. I go to the hotel woman, the clerk, and I said, "Do y'all have any rooms available?" He said, "Hey, bro, what you doing?" I said, "I'm gonna get a room." He said, "Nah, bro, it's already handled." So I'm like,
Take care.
"What you mean it's already handled?" You know. Next thing you know, we get a car sent for us, and then bam. Next thing I'm looking up, and I'm like, "Bro, is this Matt Kemp? What in the world, bro? What is going on?" So long story short, I went into him. When I say they gave me a crash course, like they absolutely tore my ass up for a week. I stayed out there for a week, dog. Bro, I went back.
They want to know what the big boys were doing.
Bro, I stayed out there for a week. When I say my legs and my ass was so sore, dog. When I got back on that plane back to Phoenix, I said, you know what, though? That's what I need. So I stayed in Phoenix for like 2 more weeks. Then, bam, I just picked up everything I had. I didn't care for nothing. I picked up everything I had. I bought out my lease in the apartment that I had in Phoenix at the time. And I said, you know, I'm going to Dallas. If I'm going to be better, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be better on the mat. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy for the week. The crazy part, he let me drive his Rolls Royce for a week, bro. I was in a Whataburger drive-through with a Rolls Royce. Bro, with the double R.
Joe's motivation. That's why he's driving a truck from New Mexico all the way to
That's what Joe's trying to get here. But they showed you what it takes.
Yeah, well, and there's your winter performance training. Also, like kids that are going to be sore after tomorrow. Well, here's why: because of Junior Spivey and Matt Kemp in Dallas.
Hey, bro. But look, I will say, just to add last thing, just to say, bro, the whole point of the winter performance, the whole point of having an off season is that a real baseball season is going to be 3 months, 3 to 4 months. Now, for us, pro ball is 6 months. You have to train for those months. You can't just walk into it. You know what I mean? So if it's something that's 3 months, you need to train for 4 months. If something's 5 months, you need to train for 6 months. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. As kids, we don't think about that. We just say, you know what? We're young. Our muscles are not that big. You know what I'm saying? Our muscles are not that big. And so therefore, we don't have any injuries. But once you get older and you start to get more developed and your muscles, they contract and constrict, guess what? You got to learn how to take care of your body. So, the earlier they learn that, the better.
No doubt. Charlie's got to work early in the morning. I wish we could find a morning time to do it. We're going.
I do mornings too now. I'll be up at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I love to have coffee and do a podcast, but we're going to figure that out.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to figure it out. But folks that are listening, we're getting off here, and look, we might do this, and we might go long, and we might whatever, because it's good. It's going to be good stuff. I'm going to be getting clips and putting it everywhere. We're going to get this thing out here. Charlie's going to put it on all the platforms, and I'm going to get with him tomorrow when I come in. Me and him are going to get a good plan. But just know we're back. We're coming, like Dion says, and we're going to make it good. We're going to get T-shirts rolling. I'm gonna mess with the logo a little bit. I'm gonna put Cowboy Joe's hat on one of the L's or something. We're gonna mess with it a little bit. So we're gonna have fun with this thing. I have fun tonight, boys.
But hey,
yeah, this is great. This was great. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, and also on my end, I'm gonna go ahead and put in my profile, my good little Instagram profile, co-host of Small Ball.
Yeah. There you go.
Podcast, you know what I'm saying?
There you go.
So I'm just go ahead and do that.
Put it on there,
crazy.
Man.
But also, Charlie, after this, you let me know where I can find this live, so I can kind of I'm gonna put a little bit of a short on my Instagram and all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it'll be
definitely start pulling my side.
So
Yep. So we are. That's why I'll go through it all. We are on YouTube on the Bull Baseball YouTube page. We're on my personal Facebook page as well as the Small Ball Podcast Facebook page. We are on Instagram, Chancy's Bull Baseball Instagram, and then once I get the audio uploaded, we'll be audio on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Really anywhere you get podcasts. So we're on all those places, and then I'll work on next week trying to get us on TikTok to also.
And it'll be
No problem.
It'll be on YouTube, and I do like I think I know when I post mine, I'm pretty sure Charlie check it tonight when you close out if they ask you, but we do allow it to get clipped. Like you can clip it from YouTube. Most time it's easier for me just to screen record it, and that's how I get my clips. But I do allow people to do that because I don't care, advertising.
Yeah.
We're not making any money, but I've got a thing on TikTok. Anyway, but we're gonna go on TikTok next week, and so, but yeah, do whatever you want to with it, and I'm gonna do my own clips as I go through it again. So,
All good with me.
I'm Charlie Rogers, Cowboy Joe Gray, Chancy Rogers. Man, it's been fun. Had a great time. Till next time, see ya.
See ya.